violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy. What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Shot in South this morning. A man was carjacked and shot in Southwest Philadelphia overnight. It happened on the 6400 block of Greenway Avenue at 11:30 last night.
So, Philadelphia has not slowed up going into 2022, and I'm predicting that they might touch 700 murders in 2022. I don't really think the problem has been addressed head on or will be addressed head on. You know, and there were certain parts of Philadelphia that have always had high crime, but Philadelphia is slowly gaining on Chicago and becoming one of the dangerous cities, the most dangerous cities in the U.S.
Police say the 31-year-old victim was shot in the thigh, and then the two attackers stole his gray Toyota Highlander. The victim was rushed to the hospital. Police are checking surveillance cameras in the area as part of their investigation.
After being shot in South Morning, a man is recovering after being shot in Southwest Philadelphia. It all happened on South 59th Street and Elmwood Avenue just after 6 o'clock this morning. Police say the 22-year-old was shot in the leg during an armed robbery. He is now in stable condition. Police have released new information about a deadly shooting involving SWAT officers. On Tuesday night, police say a 44-year-old named Vincenzo Rudy opened fire on officers while they were serving a warrant on Bancroft Street in South Philadelphia. SWAT officer Philip.
Wow, so like I said, man, Philly's on fire. We've got an individual who is shooting at officers when they're responding to a scene. It's really crazy.
Philip Scratchard returned fire, killing Rudy. Officer Scratchard was not injured. He is now on administrative duty pending the outcome of an internal affairs investigation.
Investigators say a man was shot and killed by police after firing at officers who were trying to serve a warrant. We know how dangerous that is. Let's get out to Steve Keeley.
So you heard what she said. They were serving a warrant and it got deadly. Philadelphia's on fire. This guy right here, he's covering everything in the city. He's in every video that I do about Philly.
Karen, after talking to detectives overnight, I came down to the scene. You can see it straight down from the Center City skyline. And so here's the scenario. South Bancroft Street on this block is a mix of retail. There's a church on the corner, a lot of auto shops, and there's even a drag racer here across the street. Greg? A drag racer here with the windows open that may have been towed out of the garage. So you can see the kind of situation SWAT faced, not as thin of a street. So what happens is at 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday, a man is in here with a gun and another man is in here. And the guy threatens the guy with a gun. The other guy goes down to South Detectives and says, hey, this guy threatened me. That's an aggravated assault.
Wow. So it looks like, you know, they're taking threats very seriously in Philadelphia, and good thing he didn't take it into his own hands and try and, you know, do something himself. He went to the police, did the right thing, told them about a threat, and, you know, the police responded to that in a timely manner.
So from 10 a.m. till 6:15, police are working on a warrant and a plan to go in and get this guy. It's called a high-risk arrest. That's why SWAT comes. As soon as SWAT comes to this door is partially open at the time. And when they get here and they say they can see the guy in there, as soon as they get here, the guy, instead of coming out, he starts shooting at the officers. You can see this is evidence caliber tape here. One of the bullets hits here. Another bullet hits down here, right? Goes into the wall.
And this is what normally happens when there is an armed man about to be apprehended. They wild out and they start busting at the police. And this is why it's a super dangerous job to be a police officer, especially in a city like Philadelphia. So I think that people need to be more empathetic and try and realize that what these officers are doing, they really are saving lives.
The cops instantly fire back. Then they break down this door to get in there because they don't know if the guy's hit or not. They realize.
I mean, imagine being threatened. Imagine being threatened by a guy who is willing to shoot it out with the police. The guy who went and told on him, he knew he was serious business. He knew he was about whatever he threatened him with. He knew he was about that. He knew he was about that. Because he sees what's going on in Philly. He understands the type of people that are in Philly and what bounds they're willing to go. And he made a move and it ended up saving him. Because now this guy is no longer a threat.
He's hit multiple times. They break this steel door down, same address, and they go in there and they rush the guy to Jefferson where he's dead. So that's what happened yesterday. The same kind of scenario that SWAT faced in March of 2020 at the start of the pandemic, less than 2 years ago, when Corporal Jimmy O'Connor on the SWAT team goes in to serve a warrant and gets shot and killed through another door in North Philadelphia.
As they came up to a doorway on the property, the door was partially ajar and they were able to see the offender. They knocked on the door, told him to come outside, at which point he produced a handgun and fired at least 3 shots at our SWAT officers.
Wow. Buddy was not playing. He was on super gremlin time.
One SWAT officer discharged multiple rounds, striking this male several times about the body. He was transported by police to Jefferson Hospital, where unfortunately he was pronounced dead shortly after 6:30 p.m. We flipped the calendar to a new year. Situations like this just seem to continue. Access to weapons, it's entirely too easy. Too many folks have access to these dangerous weapons, and unfortunately, we end up with situations like this.
It's not about access to weapons. And I know the officer meant well, but it's not about access to weapons. It's about a certain people, super gremlins, to be specific, people who are on demon time, to be specific, taking matters into their own hand, living this high risk life, threatening people willy-nilly. It's a mentality more than access to weapons.
So once again, as it happened several times last year, Philly police are getting shot at again by people with guns. And Karen, look at this. As we are on a live picture here, somebody already has the start of a memorial for this dead man that's still not identified. A candle burns and
so they're starting a memorial for him. I wouldn't be surprised if this started to gain traction and then you see Black Lives Matter on this same street protesting a guy who shot at police and was killed in the exchange.
There's a passage from the Bible. Therefore, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Wow. Therefore, submit to God, resist the devil and demon time and these super gremlins, and he will flee from you. Do you think this guy who shot at the police was resisting the devil or submitting to God, for that matter?
James 4:7. So there you go. Another shooting scene here. Police shot at again. Another person dead from gun violence because he decided to come out not peacefully, but to shoot at police officers who clearly are cops in this case, who announced themselves trying to take somebody out for an arrest warrant. And the man who had the gun pointed at him in the morning, probably feeling lucky tonight that he wasn't shot and killed in the morning, and wisely went and got police and filed a complaint at South Texas. And this is the result of it. Karen?
It's such a sad situation. All right, Steve, thank you.
Investigators on the case after a 22-year-old man was found overnight with a gunshot injury to the head. It happened in West Philadelphia. Officers blocking off Cecil at Spruce Streets about 12:45 this morning.
Wow, 22-year-old man shot in the head. Earlier we did a story about a 20-year-old man, 22-year-old man who was shot in the thigh in a carjacking, and this is all within the span of like a couple days in Philadelphia. All these stories that I've done in the span of a couple days.
They say they found the victim with severe head injuries and he was lying out in the street. Officers tell us the man died there at the scene. So far, no arrests have been made.
At 4:30 now, a Philadelphia mother claims inaction by the Philadelphia School District has led to her daughter being assaulted in her East Germantown High School. Eyewitness News reporter Howard Monroe spoke with the mother. He is joining us now live with her story and what she wants done now.
So, guys, you have to understand, in these schools in Philadelphia, it's rough. It's rough because you see what the adults are doing. They're shooting places up. They're carjacking. They're doing all these things. What do you think these children are doing who are being raised by these people? We just saw a story of a guy who's shooting it out with the police. What do you think the children are doing in Philly?
Howard.
Natasha, this mother says that she's been asking the district to have her daughter transferred for months, but because of their inaction, her worst fears have now come true.
This is just going too far. Please help me save my daughter.
A mother pleading for her daughter's safety. Dawn Reeves' daughter, Izira, is a 9th grader at Martin Luther King High School in Northwest Philly. She says her daughter's time there has been a struggle since the start of the school year. And then it all came to a head Wednesday when school was letting out.
Wow. So she's having trouble at Martin Luther King High School in Philly, predominantly black high school. Okay. These are black kids who are giving her trouble. These are black kids who are bullying her. Okay. This isn't no white supremacist trying to segregate the school or do anything like that. No. These are black kids presenting them or bullying her. I'm looking at public school review. They're a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. It's ridiculous. So you already know that all these kids, all they're doing, class clowning, joning, okay? 641 students in the school. Majority male. It's 64% male, 36% female. And this girl is getting bullied. She's pleading because she knows how brutal these kids can be. I mean, these kids in these, majority super gremlin schools, okay, they get brutal. And I've seen some. I went to a majority black school in high school, and I've seen some really intense, high intensity bullying, and it's sad because they go all the way. It's not just taunting and it's social media clowning. It's jumping you after school. And these parents, they can't move their kid to a different school because you don't have school choice. It's districting, it's zoning. But guys, they are the 680th ranked school in Pennsylvania. 686th ranked school. 93% African American. It's safe to say that this school is failing these children. Martin Luther King High School in West Philadelphia. The irony. Anywhere where there is a profound, monumental black figure where the establishment is named after them, unfortunately, it's a shit show. It really is. And this school is a testament to that. We need to help black women. We need to help black children and get this, girl some choice into what school she's able to go to.
In there, and I get a phone call from the school. Miss Reeves, hey, this is Isaiah Mom, Miss Reeves. The Owl sisters just jumped your daughter. She need medical attention. The bell had just rung.
These pictures show Izira's injuries. She has injuries to her eye, including a black eye. We've blurred video of a different fight involving the same group of girls who Reeves says jumped her daughter.
So this is your black girl magic. And I told you guys, a lot of sisters are now starting to be on demon time, and they're slowly transforming into super gremlins, okay? If you listen to Kodak Black's song, he said, yeah, those perks were fake, but I still ate them because I'm a gremlin. And the song is called Super Gremlins. So these kids, they're involved in throwing parties, doing drugs, doing perks, doing lean, Xans, all these types of different drugs. And it morphs the way that they're thinking, and they're slowly denigrating into super gremlins.
Reeves claims she first reported the bullying to school officials back in October and that her request for a transfer had been ignored.
I did everything the school district asked me to do. I spoke to the assistant superintendent. If nobody else could have helped me get my baby out of there.
A spokesperson for the district could not comment on this specific case, but they said they would be looking into the video and details Eyewitness News provided to them.
Damn, they tore that baby up. They tore her up. Tore her up. And it's gruesome. It's sad. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. So you see Chicago, they're shutting down their public schools, and the teachers union is behind that. And I don't think, and it's because of the quote unquote, it's because of the Omicron variant. I don't think it's because of the Omicron variant. I don't think it's because the teachers are lazy. It's not that the teachers are lazy or because of the Omicron variant. It's because they have to deal with this. They have to deal with these types of kids, super gremlins in the schools, beating up other kids, acting the fool, shooting the schools up, bringing guns to school, bringing knives to school. They got to deal with this. So they like, hey, let's do online learning, and then we can get to the kids who actually want to learn, because the kids who actually want to learn, they're going to find a way to get on that computer and learn and interact with the class. The kids who don't want to learn, they're going to be out in the streets. Now, how that is going to affect the city, we already know how it's going to be. A bunch of super gremlins on the street going crazy. But I get it. I understand why the teachers union shut down the schools and they don't want to go back to classes, to regular classes. I understand. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't want to teach these kids. It's because they're tired. They're tired of the bull.
They said the district has zero tolerance for bullying and harassment, and that instigators are subject to disciplinary action. As Azira tends to her physical wounds, Reeves says all she wants is her daughter out of MLK High School.
And I'm talking to my baby every day, and I'm telling her I'm sorry. And I feel like the school district has failed her. And my baby don't even want to go to school. I don't even want her back in school.
Now, Reeves says that she is now contemplating hiring a lawyer to get her daughter transferred out of that high school. Meanwhile, the district says they do have an entire office that investigates these bullying claims and that anyone can file a claim. Back to you.
Thank you, Howard.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.